calling it to order. We have one delegate, Miss Brittany Sloan. Ms. Sloan, with, now I'm not being rude, but we do have some other things we have to discuss, and unfortunately we give you 10 to 15 minutes for discussion and answers or what have you. So that we're not sitting here at 7 o'clock tonight with some of the other things we have to discuss as well. So, that being said, I'll give you the floor and let you present or what have you.
So I'm mainly here because I wanted to follow up on the information that was presented last year. I was not able to be here personally, but my mother was. And I had shared with all of you, with Jamie, the information in the Google folder, the Google Drive, about a lot of different things about trap, neuter, return, about grants that can be applied for to help us, because we are seeing a consistent problem with overpopulation of animals in our county, and it's not going to get any better until we actually start trying to have solutions that get at the root of the problem. Because we can go and we can rescue and we can send animals out of state and all the things that we're currently doing, which is fantastic, but it's not actually going to fix the problem, which is that we have way too many animals in our county that are unaltered and reproduced. So basically I'm here to follow up on what was presented, a 5-year plan, and obviously I understand that even if we don't have the resources within county finances or whatever right now, what I would like to see, as soon as we can possibly do it, a shift towards prevention as opposed to just trying to pick up as many animals as we can, because it's not going to fix it. It does help, but it does not fix the root of the problem.
So one thing I know that Pat has helped me out in carrying my cat last year, and talking with other people and knowing what other counties and cities even do. And I know that there is mobile spays and neuter. Have y'all looked at the possibility of once a month trying to set that up, or is there somewhere else that could help us with the issue that we're trying to address?
Well, yes, so we actually did. It was a Catapalooza event back in February, and we got about 70 cats fixed through that. It was actually a private, anonymous sponsor who basically provided My Kids Have Paws with a lump sum of money to reduce the cost for a spay-neuter surgery and rabies vaccine to $15 for one cat. And we had our friends at Floyd Felines were fantastic. They let us borrow their van to transport them. So we were able to transport about 50 cats, and other people who had transport brought their cats themselves. But it was very, very successful, and we've had leftover grant funding from this individual. I have been continuing to try to help people that I can identify get their cats fixed. Like I had just one lady, she had one cat she inherited with the property that she bought just very recently. She had kittens. They're old enough to where they could reproduce with each other. Well, we got the kittens. They went to, we were owner surrenders to a rescue, and then I'm helping her fix the adults that are in her house so that there will be no more.
Right.
But that's the kind of thing that, we need to be doing. And the other thing is, what I really loved about the Catapalooza event was that the information was shared with the county, and then I'm not sure who in HR did it, but it was this really beautiful infographic, and it was posted on the county Facebook page, and we got a really good response from that. So what I would like to see is when we're doing, some of these volunteer things, and also if we can get like coordinated messaging, not only like through the county page and also like the Animal Control Facebook page, to try to promote these events and also promote educational materials. Like I have this flyer that I made about cat spay-neuter awareness, how much they can reproduce, and at the very bottom, you can scan a QR code, and it will lead you to a Google form that they fill out, and that I see it, and then I can reach back out to them. And also I have the email for Floyd Felines, because they assist people with spaying and neutering their cats. So we have created a lot of resources for people to use. I have a low-cost spay-neuter flyer with a list of options, and I can tell you that since we had a partnership with Farm and Friends since last year, I think it was, they have been phenomenal. They have been taking, like if we have an adopter for a pit or something, they're really good about trying to help us get them fixed before they go to an adopter. Or if I have feral cats that I want to send to a barn home, I'll call them like, hey, can you fix them, just like 2 or 3, and they'll say, yeah, we'll get them on the schedule for them. They fix them and fully vaccinated, and then they are sent to a barn placement where, you know, they're not contributing to overpopulation, but it's also a place that actually wants them there.
Right.
So, you know, these are all the things that we're working on. It would just be great to also have the county working in conjunction with us to make this happen.
So you did hit the nail on the head right now in this discussion we had, and was talking about it 10 minutes before we walked into the room. From a financial standpoint of doing it or making it mandatory would just about be impossible for us at this point. But moving forward, was the first I've heard of any grants or anything like that. Getting with us to get the information of us being able to look into something to help assist with a program as such, if there is state or federal funding or private funding out there.
Yes, there is state funding. I had actually sent the link to Jeff, but it's also in this packet on grant resources that we have. Someone else helped me put this together last year, but there is one, the Georgia Department of Agriculture grant. It's the dog and cat sterilization program. There, I subscribed to their newsletter, and I saw on their website, it had popped up on my Facebook, that we are approaching the window to actually for them to open applications to apply for grant funding for spay-neuter. And you have to have vet partnerships and such as that. So I'm also looking at that, because I know the way that it works is a 501c3 can apply for it, but also municipal shelters can also apply for it. So it would be possible for animal control to apply for this funding, and we can use it to help people get animals fixed, because that's really, like I said, the only way we're gonna start getting a handle on this issue. And I've had good response so far, like I said, for the Catapalooza. We filled about 70 plus of the 80 spots that we had. And I've been using the additional funding to help other people as they have come to me asking for help so far.
Good.
So, and that was like I said, a private individual who has been very generous, and she has even offered to do it again for us, which was super kind. But
so on average, with that list that you've got of people that's willing to help at low cost, what is the average cost?
the average cost, so it depends on where you go, but I know that Farm and Friends, because we have a relationship with them, they'll charge like $50 for a cat neuter and a rabies vaccine, $70 for a cat spay and a rabies vaccine, which is not that bad. My Kids Have Paws there, and I think also the Humane Society, they do theirs more by weight. So if it's like a 3-pound cat, it's this much, or and the same thing with dogs.
So nobody has a per se cut and dry price of 50 and 60 or 45 and 75 or anything
My
like that.
Kids Have Paws has a list on their website, and they're the ones that I'm currently using because they actually have a 501c3 partner that works with their vet clinic, and so the funding went to their 501c3, and then they use that money to help us cover the cost of the surgeries. So they have a breakdown on their website of specifically how much they charge for everything. Okay. Each clinic is different, and the reason why on the list of low-cost spay-neuter, that flyer, I don't have a breakdown of each cost is because it can change.
Right.
That's why I have like the phone numbers and their addresses.
Right, well, and the only reason why I ask is just as a general ballpark, go after a grant, say for $5,000, we know that we can do, according to whomever might be the cheapest, we can do X amount,
Yeah,
so on and so forth, so we know what funding is available,
right,
is the reason why I'm asking that.
right. And it will not be difficult for me to provide a list of that and add it to the Google folder. I can get that information together, that's no problem. I know that each one is different, just slightly different. And I'm more familiar with the cost for cats because I mainly work with the cats.
Right.
My mom works more with the dogs, and she's sorry she couldn't be here, but she's more up on the dogs than I am because cats are more my focus. But this is not just about cats, it is also about our dogs because
Okay.
kitten season starts in the spring and goes really all through towards the fall, but puppy season seems to be year round, so.
Right. So, following up with you on this grant, if she can get the information, and I know you are extremely busy, is this something that you could look into for us to
Yes, sir.
possibly see what is out there, and then two, what it would take to facilitate possibly applying for this?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Hey, another thing I just looked up, Jeff, Bartow County and Paulding County Animal Control both have got this in 2024. So they've probably already got the grant written up, so it may be something you can request, and instead of recreating the wheel, just kind of use them to,
Go off what they put out.
You said Bartow?
Bartow and Paulding. And there's one in Floyd County, it's called Floyd Feline.
Lloyd
Yes,
Felines
we
and
use
Friends, they
them.
are very, very,
Yeah.
they help us a whole lot.
But I guess the other thing I would like to say, hello Charlotte, how
I
are
didn't
you?
recognize you with the cat.
No, yeah, incognito. Does the Humane Society already have this grant by chance, and is it something that we could both get and maybe double dip?
We don't ask for a grant, for that sort of thing.
Right.
We partner with like Floyd Felines, Paulding County, some people in Bartow. They get the grant,
Right.
bring their animals to us. Just because we don't have the capabilities, we're growing and at some point may, but we can't do the billing, the invoicing, all
There's a
of
lot
that
more to
sort
it.
of
I
thing.
got you. Yeah, what I was kinda looking at was if we could use it as a funding source to go through you and through animal control, that way we've got twice as much. Go ahead.
My kids have paused might be an option.
Okay.
I know that, the Cedar Town Pool Community, they are right here in the county, and they are fantastic, and they are doing really great work. But I know that when we did our Catapalooza, they have a much more expansive billing team, and so people called them to schedule their appointments. And so they weren't calling me, because I know everybody here, most everybody here probably works full time, and so I wouldn't have had the time to really try to get all of that together, payment and everything. But they have an actual billing team. So the way that ended up working out is they called, my kids have paused, they scheduled the appointment. My kids have paused, created all of the paperwork that was needed, and then someone went and picked it up. And so then I had it, and we basically had a check-in at Animal Control at it was 5:30 in the morning. It was a crazy morning, but it was really fantastic. It was really fantastic as people came, and because we had the extra space in the van to put more cats in it, it was like because initially our limit was 40 cats to go on transport, but once we bumped it up to 60, then more people called to sign up. So most of the people who brought their cats to that event used transport as opposed to taking the cats themselves. So they have the infrastructure, and they also have the 501c3 partner. They have been helping with cats a lot because that's how we ran our Catapalooza through them. So they have the infrastructure. I'm not sure. I haven't asked them about a doggy palooza, but I can.
Okay. All right. Well, all things considered, I firmly believe that, you know, again, and I will read through this with what you have provided. As far as a 5-year plan, that is something that we probably need to look into and, you know, possibly start working on.
Yeah, and I mean, that's my main goal is, I understand that the way things stand right now, it's not a right now thing that I'm expecting, because I understand we're still trying to get animal control fully staffed. We still have to get things stabilized in that respect.
Yep.
And, you know, that I fully understand. I would just like us start trying to look forward to the future where we actually start prioritizing prevention, because over time you actually start to save money. And I recently saw, and I put it in the Google folder, a presentation that someone had designed to be presented to the Georgia State Assembly. And for every $1 the state of Georgia is spending on this issue, like prevention, 501c and nonprofits are spending $300. It's extremely out of balance at the moment. Now, so this is just, I'm here because I want us to start trying to shift that a bit, you know, and trying to start getting people to basically do the right things and have our animals fixed, because, and there is I know we most likely don't have time to try to get that screen going to display it, but I also created like a slideshow full of animals that have come through animal control in the past, and some of the stuff is terrible, whether it's neglect or abuse, or it's animals that are just born on the streets, and especially the younger ones, the puppies and the kittens, they're very susceptible to getting sick, and then you result in things that are like their eyes rupture, and it's terrible.
Right.
So we're not only trying to, you know, help our community, make our community safer, but also, you know, stop the suffering that is happening with all of these animals that are being born that never asked to be here, you know?
Right.
So.
Okay, well, I think this will be a good start. Again, you know, I know Jeff is, like you said, very busy and kind of got his hands tied, but if it is time to start looking at grants, if it's something that we could possibly facilitate to look at to start getting some of the funding and still using outreach, if you will, the way you're doing it, then that at least gives us a track to start down.
Right, and it because when I sent the information from Catapooza, I sent it to Animal Control, they forwarded it to your HR person, and I loved the graphics so much. So if there's stuff that we're doing, can we just if you guys, if I send it to HR or to Animal Control, they send it to whoever it was that did it, who made that graphic, if we can coordinate messaging like that, or if we have Spay-Neuter Awareness Month, if we could do something posted on the county website like that, just to start putting it out there for people to see, to say, hey, we are actually working on this issue, we care about it, we want it front and center, and we want you guys to do the right things and be aware of the resources that are out there to be used.
Would that be a problem for us to do so?
No, we can do that easy.
Okay.
As far as getting it on our webpage and county page and all that.
Okay. All right.
I had a cat problem from a cat somebody threw out that was feral, and then I volunteered at the shelter, met Brittany, and then she connected me with somebody that could help me that I didn't even know where to go to get help. So what they do is great at the shelter.
Right.
How many cats was it that we got fixed
I had
with?
about 25.
Yeah, and then several kittens went to rescue that were little.
So really, moving forward, we need to do, I think, we're talking about 3 things, right? Go after the grant. We'll go after it. We'll see if we can partner with somebody else to maybe get a grant too, but getting with the grant, that'd be probably something, right, you can maybe get Connor to help Jeff with it.
Yeah, Connor can work on it.
All right, the next thing is educating the public through messaging.
Yep.
We have a really good PIO person that I'm sure that Connor can get you with, and making sure that everything's on the website and all that's good to go. And then the last part with educating the public is having a spay and neuter month. I don't know if there's a national spay and neuter month. There probably is, and if we could, piggyback off of that with our messaging, that would probably be a good thing to do. So hopefully it hadn't passed already, and it's maybe something that we could get on this year in 2026. So that's probably the three things. I'll write down that, make sure I email it, follow up on it.
I'm pretty sure Spay-Neuter Awareness Month was in February. It was in February, but
In that case, we can still do
yeah,
one
we
on our
can
own,
still
right?
do Spay-Neuter Awareness every month because we have we're about to be having
Yeah.
kittens falling out of the sky. For instance.
I think the public is probably educated on understanding spay and neuter. What, a lot of times it's limited finance, and other times it's limited opportunity. And I think, number one, through a good messaging campaign, just letting them know, hey, this is something that you need to do. Just kind of a gentle reminder that, hey, public, you need to do this. And then when we do get a grant, we have opportunities for them to get it done for free or at a lower cost or something
Yeah.
like that. Maybe they'll be more
People were a
inclined
big
to do
fan
that.
of $15 for a spay-neuter and rabies shot.
The
They
lady
were-
that they knew funded all of my cats and some more, and my neighbors. Anybody that lived on my road, some lady that they knew funded all of it.
Pat, you got something?
Yeah, I just want to ask. I feel like since I see you two here, things have changed. So does that mean Linda's no longer on this committee, or
She is on this committee, but she had a doctor's appointment and wasn't able to make it today.
okay? So are one of you or both of you on the committee too?
Yes,
I'm chair, he's vice chair.
Okay, and who are you?
David McAwee.
Oh, it's nice
Yeah,
to meet
now
you.
let me say this with Charlotte. I'll tell you what, I was assistant county manager here from 2013 to 2016. And,
We go a long way back.
We do go way back. And Charlotte and Jeff and I worked together, with the commissioners and with Matt too at the time. And we were having a big problem with euthanasias. And in 2013, I believe, it's 2012 or 2013, we euthanized over 1,300 dogs. And we reduced that really in that 2 to 3 year period to 0. To really almost becoming a no-kill shelter. But that was all of us getting in the room, and I'm telling you, we had some arguments and almost fist fights. But the animal population in Polk County was better for it after we did that and worked together. But sometimes it takes getting out of your comfort zone, knowing that you're going in for an argument, and that's the way it's gonna be. And trying to get everybody on the same sheet of music, and hopefully by the time you come out the other end, everything's good and positive things are happening. So I'm hoping with this spay and neuter thing, we can get it going, push it out to the public, get the low-hanging fruit, and make things happen.
Well, I can tell you that as of I've got the numbers for animal control for the remainder of last year. When I first put this together, it was last year, but since I only started really helping the cats that are animal control last year, and since then the numbers really have, as far as euthanasia goes, we are basically numbers wise a no-kill shelter. We still euthanize.
Right.
And I will never advocate for us to be a no-kill shelter because I understand that there's gotta be a place for owner surrenders to go. There's gotta be a place for the strays to go. And I don't think it's, I was talking to someone in a neighboring county who works at their animal control, and they said they don't take owner surrenders. I said, well, why? And they said, well, we would have to euthanize more than we already do. And I thought to myself, well, you're probably still picking them up because they're dumping them.
Mm-hmm.
So I am never, the euthanasia lists create a lot of stress for the advocates who are trying to get animals moved out, but at the same time,
You should fill it out every week.
God,
And I'm telling you, it puts stress on the volunteers, but for the person that has to do it and it falls back on me, you don't know what stress is. Of sitting down and making a 20 animal list every week.
and
So-
I've told him, Jeff and I, we have talked, I've said, Jeff, I will never ever be mad, I will be sad for any animal that has to euthanize, whether it's the feral cats that I'm constantly trying to move out, because the feral cats in the past, I know there was no resources to really do anything with them. I understand that. But since I started helping, I've been trying to find rescues. Like there's 2 rescues I know of, they actually have specific barn cat programs. So they will take the feral cats, they will, they have a place to actually hold them.
Right.
They will spay and neuter them, get them vaccinated, ear tip, and then someone who wants a barn cat to kill their rats or mice, they'll adopt it. And then, but if they can't help, I'm going on social media like, who needs a mouser? And then it's crazy. I've had a lot of people say, oh, the mice are terrible this year. Oh, the rats are awful. Can I have some? I said, you sure can. And then I arrange it. They go to get fixed. They get vaccinated. And then, they have to go through an acclimation period where they're confined so they don't freak out like, where am I at? But then they realize this is their new home, and then they're free to go hunt mice or rabbits or whatever it is that they want to catch, like giving them a job, which is, as opposed to peeing on people's stuff and tearing up their stuff.
And she has made a big difference. She and her mother, they have made a big difference for
Okay.
animal control.
Thank you.
Thank y'all for coming in.
Mm-hmm.
Like I say,
Well, thanks for having us. I
We're gonna
appreciate it very much.
stay up all week, I guess.
All right. We will let you gentlemen get it done.
All right.
I don't think I've met you.
Oh,
I'm sure
what,
you're
why?